When people think of California, they often picture cities, traffic, and tech. But California is actually the largest farming state in the country, producing more food than any other. Whoever wants to lead this state as a governor will need the trust and support of the farming community. At Pastura Films, we are small-scale farmers ourselves, and we understand the concerns that come with growing and raising food in California today. That's why we wanted to speak with one of the most talked about candidates in the upcoming race, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, and ask him directly about the issues that matter on the ground. We met at Boschma Farms, a cattle ranch in Ontario, where Riley Boschma, a recently widowed mother of 5 and full-time rancher, showed Sheriff Bianco around her property and asked him the questions she faces every day, both as a farmer and as a parent.
A lot of grazing land is going away. Are you going to do something about making sure that some of our land stays directed towards ranches that need grazing?
Absolutely. It is my belief, and I believe it to be fact, that the current direction of our government is to make it almost impossible for you to have the ability to raise your livestock. We have to make sure that our farming and ag community is given all of the tools and all of the resources that they need to make sure that we can survive.
We create a lot of fuel here in California, so why is our fuel so high?
Yeah.
And how do we fix that?
Yeah, we're going to be oil independent. With me as your governor, we will actually embrace what we have here, and knowing that we utilize vehicles for everything. It kind of blows me away that we're allowing the government to do that to all of us.
My kids are homeschool on our own, but we also go through a charter school, and right now Newsom is trying to get rid of funding for homeschooled charter children.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, that's how we need that money to be able to provide them the education that they deserve. So what will you do in office to help us?
So this is what my mission will be, is to help exactly you. We will go to a voucher system for public schools, private schools, charter schools, and even homeschools. I believe that it's the government's responsibility to educate our kids, all of our kids, and you should be able to pick where that education is going to come from. And you pick what's best for your kids. And then that's what we do as a state, not just giving it to a place that's not educating your kids or not really even the beliefs that you want them raised under. So education's huge. We will do that. I'm a fan of charter schools. I'm a fan of private schools. I'm a fan of homeschools. And I think that all of them together are what are going to make the public school system get better again. Because if we just force all the kids back into public school, our public school system doesn't have to change.
How about vaccinations?
Absolutely not. I mean, what we're talking about, I think, is the requirement to vaccinate your kids to get them into school. And that is not going to happen. That is absolutely wrong. That is a parent's choice. There is far too much medical evidence now that vaccinations are harmful, and the whole informed consent and all of that stuff, that is your right as a parent. That it is you raising your kids, it's not the government. And it's up to you to decide if you want that risk of a vaccination. And yes, I know that there are benefits, but there are also risks, and we've been misled a little bit about the risks. And you are not going to have to vaccinate your kids to get them into school.
Riley and her kids later offered a prayer for the sheriff.
I just pray that you put your hands upon him and our state and all of the wonderful people here in California, and you bless our future. And I hope and pray that you bless it through Sheriff Bianco. In your precious name, Lord, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Riley.
Thank you so
it was
much.
a pleasure meeting
really
you.
Nice to meet you.
He also took the time to sit down with Pastura Films.
Hi, Chad.
How are you?
Welcome. Thank you for taking your time to come and check this small farm.
Absolutely.
I know people care about the big farms, but small farms are important, especially in California. Farmers get a lot of support already, but not small farmers or organic farms. What is your plan to move us in a healthier food system?
My personal belief and what I know to be a fact is that not just small farms, but small business in general is the lifeblood of any economy. We absolutely must have small businesses to protect the economy, to build the economy, and basically to provide for the people that are starting those small businesses and operating those small businesses. That's the American way. That's the American dream. That's the California dream. So it's business is not about just big business. Big business, really, I mean, the goal of big business is to overtake the small family farms or the family ag businesses. And absolutely. And there's never been a time where anyone said that a monopoly over an industry is good. It's just not. When one person or a few people have vast control or all the control over any industry, that is bad for all of us. And so farming is no different. So it's there's no less importance in California than between a big farm or a small farm. They're all equally important in the success of California's and really the success of our ag industry.
And I also saw when there was the lockdowns that we couldn't get some certain stuff because the economy is like tailored to big companies. We couldn't get certain things that we should have been able to get with local farms.
Yeah.
So I think if we start focusing on small farms like the way it was back in the day, we shouldn't have any shortage at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to go back. We're talking about, you know, what we're going to do in the future of California and how we're going to make it better. And the bottom line is we need a different direction. And we need a leader in California, a governor of California, who not only says the right things, but does the right things. And there have been, since 2020, when I stood up to the state and said, you are not going to pick what businesses are essential, because every business is essential. Every small farm, every small business is just as important as every big business. And you're not going to dismiss all of them at their expense. And I refused to go along with what the state governor wanted at that time. And there have been, over the years, there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of small business owners who have said that I saved their business because I stood up for them, because I would not enforce those ridiculous rules and laws that were being imposed upon them. Their businesses thrived. And Riverside County was a lot different than many other places in the state because of that. And that is my belief. My belief is that we don't try and restrict. We don't try and shut down. And this was what we saw during COVID was a purposeful way to force a lot of small businesses out of business. And it was harmful. It was harmful to our state. It was harmful to our economy. It was harmful for our residents. And we have to make sure that that never happens again.
Just because we don't have shareholders doesn't mean we don't have families to feed. Every single small business, it's important.
That business is for that family. That family business also has workers. That those families are relying on that income, that business. That this is how everything works. And
it's how America was built.
It is, and that's how America will remain successful. We just need a person in the governor's office that actually believes that's going to stick up for our small business, our small farming community, our entire ag community as a whole, not as a big industry.
Cool. All right, so beef is all over the news. Everybody's talking about beef, people losing their jobs because we're importing beef from Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico. What do you think about that?
So my personal belief, I'm going to tell you what I know as a fact. Beef makes us healthy.
I know.
My wife and I, it'll be 3 years in February, eat nothing but beef. That's all we eat. We eat nothing but beef. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That is what we eat. We are the carnivore diet, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Nothing else goes into our body. And we know that we are extremely healthy. We know that there is a value for the beef industry in California. And what we have been told over the years that's demonizing the beef and cattle industry is absolutely wrong. And it's solely meant to put beef farmers in California out of business, knowing that we will always eat meat, we will always want to be healthy, and what it's doing is it's forcing us to buy from other countries rather than growing it, raising it here, and providing for ourselves.
And it's possible, you could see it.
It is extremely possible. It is being made almost impossible by overregulation from our state government. And it's driving businesses like this, small farms, small ranchers, small ag growers, it's driving them out of business. And it's on purpose. We have to realize it is a purposeful destruction of small businesses, of small ranches, of small ag, and of small growers. And that ends with me as your governor. I know the value, I know the importance of beef, and we will bring back the beef industry in California that has been diminished.
Is there a way that we could put a label on the beef? Because I know if they bring beef from Brazil, Argentina, or Mexico, they bring it live and they process it here and this is product of the USA, which is not. That beef, that cattle was born in a different country, was raised, it was eating different grass, that it's not. Is there a way that we could put a label on it to differentiate it from our own beef and have the consumer make that decision so consumers could vote with their dollars instead of with their mouth?
Absolutely. It's the federal government regulates the USDA, which would provide those labels for U.S. beef. I would go one step further and say that I believe California is the greatest state in the country. I've had California beef and it's absolutely amazing. And why don't we tag our California beef as California raised, and we sell that to the rest of the country, and then we're known as the best beef in the country. Yeah. And so it should be. People should know where their food is coming from, and that's the problem that we have with an over-regulated government. Regulations on our farms that are closing us, that are bringing in food sources from other countries that do not have the same regulatory issues that, and rules that we have here to make sure we're getting healthy food, and we have no idea what we're eating, but yet we're making other countries rich. We are not going to make other countries rich in California. We are going to make Californians rich. We are going to take care of Californians first, and we will take care of the rest of the country after that.
So now I have a question that is kind of close to this. So as you see, we're close to the city. We're part of the city right here. So now housing is coming to the farms and taking over the farms because of regulation from Sacramento saying that we need to have more affordable housing. I don't think we have a housing problem. I think we have enough housing.
Well, let me get this straight, because this is two things. We have an unaffordable housing problem because California has regulated the housing prices that high on purpose. They don't want you to own a home. They don't want you to be able to build a home for your family. They don't want you to go out and be able to buy a single family home for your family. They want to force you to live in rented apartments, rented condominiums, so they can control everything that you do. That is completely against the American way of life. That is completely against the California dream, the American dream, what we all want to better our family and our lives. And with me as your governor, that all comes back. The overregulation of the housing industry will bring houses down. We will not force farms out of business just to build houses on that property. It defeats the entire purpose of what you're trying to do of creating a better California. The common sense will finally be put back into the decisions that are made in state government that has been missing for decades.
Is there a way to make him like I hate this word, sanctuary city, but to make him a certain way safe from housing developments, like farming areas and farming cities?
So I think the farming areas, the local jurisdictions control the zoning for their county, city, or towns, whatever the case may be. I think the problem that we have now is that the state is coming in and imposing restrictions and rules on counties, so they can't do that anymore. That has to be taken back. That has to be taken away from the state and given back to the local jurisdictions, because I can tell you right now, this local jurisdiction is not going to do anything to remove farming. The state wants to remove farming from this area, but the local jurisdiction, the people that are voting for these politicians, they want the farms here. They want to be able to buy their beef from here. They want to be able to buy their vegetables from here, their fruit from here. They don't want to have to go to other countries or to sometimes even to the grocery store. They would prefer their grocery store had all local grown produce and meat and everything else. And we've gotten to a place in this state particularly that is trying to make us forget that reality and just go to a new norm that is not healthy, that is making other people rich in other countries. They want to import all of those things into California. They want to get rid of this farm, make it all housing, and they make it all apartment housing so they can control everybody in it. And then they're going to tell you that, oh, you have to buy all of your meat and produce from other countries because we no longer have it here. We're on a destructive path that has to be righted.
Yeah, basically they're trying to say you will own nothing and be happy.
Right. You're going to be happy with what government gives
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And the reality of the United States of America is this. We have lost our way as U.S. residents, as California residents. We were never supposed to look to the government to be told what we could do. We are supposed to be telling government what government can do. And we lost path of that a long time ago. And I'm going to bring that back. I'm going to give the power of California back to Californians and take it away from the destructive politicians that are now running it.
Oh, thank you. I like that. Okay, so now going back to beef. You know, there is a new beef and vegetables. This applies to both. There is a new vaccine, mRNA vaccine, that they're giving to animals, and it's basically part of the vegetables too. So the vegetables have been modified to be mRNA and vaccines into the vegetables and the beef. What do you think about that?
There is a very good reason why other countries have completely outlawed that. It is not healthy. It is destructive to our bodies. Whatever you are going to put into your food source also goes into your body. We are eating Roundup. We are eating all of those things, those genetically modified seeds and plants and even beef that you're injecting all of those chemicals into and everything else. That doesn't stay there. That goes into, we are eating all of that, and it goes into my body, and it is destructive. It is making the United States the most unhealthy population in the world, and other countries have stopped it. They are not allowing that. Why are we doing it? We are giving in to the pharmaceutical industry and the big manufacturers, the Monsantos of the growers and those types of corporations that are taking over everything. And we are sacrificing our health for it. I am absolutely against that. I will tell you that I am a very huge fan of RFK Jr. and his Make America Healthy Again stance. And I think that we should be doing the same thing in California. It is not a secret that if you walk around and people watch, we are an unhealthy population that is strictly related to what we are putting in our bodies. And we have to start being honest as a government, what's happening to us, and we have to make changes that make that better. And part of that is not allowing those drugs and mRNA vaccines and everything else that are going to alter your DNA to go into our food source.
Yeah, people they have lost the connection between living creatures and us.
Yeah.
It's so easy to think that, oh, a bug is not a living creature. If these poisons are killing bugs, they're killing the ground, they're killing the bacteria, the nematodes, it's killing everything that it's touching. Guess what? It's doing the same thing to you.
Yes.
It's just because it's not killing a cow in one day doesn't mean it's not hurting the cow. It's just an unhealthy walking cow that has no symptoms. They're prey animals. They're not going to show symptoms of, oh, I'm dying, I'm poisoned. They're not going to show symptoms.
Yes.
It goes into the muscle, it goes inside their fat, and guess what? When you're having a juicy steak, guess what? It's full of toxins.
Yes.
So we have to change. Like, this is why we like to say our farmers, we don't raise chickens, we raise grass, because the chicken eat the grass. So we care about the grass and the soil. So if we feed the soil, it feeds the chickens. So if the soil is unhealthy and you're spraying Roundup and herbicides and you're planting disgusting stuff, guess what? Your food is going to be trash.
Yeah, I have a message for all of Californians, and particularly the environmentalists. The environmentalists are the most destructive people for the environment that we absolutely have. Hands down. The best people for our environment, that care about their environment and care to take care of the environment, are our farmers and our ranchers, because the condition of the earth is paramount to the success of their livestock or their vegetables or their fruit or their nuts, whatever it is that they are growing, whatever it is that they are providing to us. They have to maintain the soil and the things that are going into it, or they're not going to have a business in years to come. The environmentalists are destroying all of that.
So touching on that, you know, most of the crops in California need migrant workers to come pick the fruit and do the planting, and so they're called seasonal workers. And now they're freaking out because they don't want to come, because they don't want to get deported, they don't want to get arrested, they don't want to get confused by illegal workers. Is there a way that you as a governor could tell them that they're okay to come work the fields, or also have a plan for Americans to take that job in the future?
Yeah.
And say, you know what, we're going to have more FFAs or more classes on the high schools to teach people how to farm, so we don't rely on foreign aid, foreign labor force to feed ourselves. We should be self-sufficient.
Yes. So that's a very big, detailed question that we could probably talk an hour on that. The answer is we have purposely convinced our younger generation to avoid the farming lifestyle. It is absolutely wrong. It's by design. It's for kids to not want to take over their family farms, to not want to go into that, or even to go into that as just a job and as a career, as helping someone else's farm. You don't have to own your own. You can still work on another farm. And we've gone away from that. We don't have, there are FFA programs in schools. They're very rare. They're very small. They're not pushed. It's really driven by volunteers and by parents that want it in the school. And we will change that. We will bring it back to where my generation grew up like that. And we were obviously successful. Things have gone downhill since we took it out. So that's one aspect of that. The other part about the immigration system in the United States is broken, and it is completely the fault of politicians in Washington, Republicans and Democrats, because they should have fixed this decades ago. Decades ago. The real issue that we have is you cannot have immigration, unfettered immigration, an unrestricted immigration into a country that is a welfare state, that has welfare, that where you only are coming into the country for free stuff.
Use it.
Yeah. So my generation, my family immigrated here from Italy, and they came here for jobs. That's what things were here for. You came here as a job. You said America is the greatest country in the world and I want to be an American, and you bust your behind to make sure that you provide for your family. That's what it was then. And the people that came here knew they had to work hard to succeed. The people that are coming here now, especially illegally, are coming here for free stuff. And then we are the ones that are paying for that. So the immigration system has to be fixed. We have to have a secure border. It is secure right now, but we have a major issue with people who are here illegally. Some of them were here legally. They were allowed into the country legally, but they've extended how long they could stay. And so technically they've overstayed their visas or their welcome here. That's a bad word, but they were here legally, but now they are not. We have to fix that process, and it's up to the federal government to do it. As the governor of California, the largest state in the country, I will work with the governor of Texas, the governor of Florida, the other two largest states in the country, and because we have California is one of the largest immigrant populations in the country and illegal immigrant populations in the country. But we have to address it. We have to make it right. Whether they came across illegally into the country legally or not is irrelevant because we allowed it to happen. So now we just have to fix it. Secure our borders, don't let it happen again, and now we have to give a path to citizenship to the ones that are here. We have to create a way for them to become U.S. citizens and productive, make their families great. If they truly did come here to make their lives and their families' lives better, we have to get to a position where we allow that to happen. If they're here and they're breaking our laws and committing crimes, they got to go back. We're not going to allow them to stay here to violate our social norms and our rules of law and victimize us. So the ones that are here illegally that are committing crimes, they've got to be sent back.
They shouldn't even stay in jail. They should be deported immediately. They shouldn't stay wasting our money.
So it's a very multi-pronged question and answer, but I, as the governor of California, we will fight for path to citizenship, and I will use my influence as the greatest state and the biggest state in the country on the president and on Congress, and we will utilize Florida and Texas because they want the same things. Yeah. It is our failed politicians that are not making this happen, and the reason being is they use that as an election argument every single 4 years saying, oh, if you elect me, I'll fix it. If you elect me, I'll fix it. I'll help fix it.
Never do.
It's been 50 years and nobody's fixed it. So you put me in position and we will absolutely make sure it will be done, because we know it has to be done, and we have to start working for the people that are here trying to make California great, and we have to make their lives easier.
How about the seasonal workers that are coming to work the field?
Same thing. I mean, they are historically, if they're coming here to work the fields, and we have to have them for the production of our food and everything else, the government has to process those applications. They have to give them those work permits. They come and they stay for the duration of that work permit, and they go back. If they want to stay here, they can still apply. They can apply to be citizens, and they can apply to stay here. And we have to set up a process where that is actually possible. I'm a firm believer in the industries that we have that are hard to get workers into, which is the hospitality industry with hotels and restaurants and things like that, our construction industry, our ag industry, those industries that rely heavily on immigrant labor, we have to make it possible for that labor to be here. We have to make it possible for them to get citizenship here, be able to afford to live here. That's another issue with California, is it's not affordable here to live. So we have to address the entire aspect of California. It's not one item. It's not just illegal immigration. It's not just criminals. It's everything. We have to lower the cost of living. We have to give businesses the ability to expand. When you give businesses the ability to expand, it creates the need for a bigger workforce. And then that workforce, because you're demanding workers, it creates a higher wage naturally. And we have just gotten to a position in California where California government has assumed way too much control of our lives, and it's harming us. We just have to get back to a common sense, realist position of how we're going to fix it, and we have to start caring about the people that elect me. I am doing this for the people that elect me, not for me, not for a political party, political position, or my own personal agenda.
Well, you're giving away your sheriff's position to
I am. And that's, a lot of people tell me I'm crazy. It's like, why would you give up the greatest position that I could possibly think I could get in my career? Why would I give that up? And the answer is because I know I can help all of California.
Because you're the only one who can fix the things that you're saying.
Yes.
Because nobody else has. So it's all promises.
Yes. And I am the only person on this that will be on this ballot, both parties. I am the only person that has a history of doing everything that I tell you I'm going to do. There is a proof of service in me where no other candidate, Democrat or Republican, has that.
And also, you're not like married to Republicans. You're not married to Democrats. You're like somewhere, and you're for the people. You're like in the center. You're like...
I want to be married to California.
Yes, exactly. You're like analyzing where you stand in every single situation. It's not like, oh, because the red said this, I have to do this.
Right.
So water in California, it's a big deal. People are freaking out. California has no water. I know California has so much water. We have huge aquifers. We get a lot of water with the rains, but the water is getting flushed to the ocean. Mm-hmm. It's just getting drained back to the sewage, straight to the ocean. Is there a way, or do you have a plan on capturing that water and storing it, or creating new water systems for us to farm with more ease and produce more food?
Absolutely. And it's very, very simple. It's just, I'm going to do it. We have a government now that is purposely not doing it. We have a government, we don't have a water problem. You said it. We have more water than any state in the country. And every single year we get more water, rain, snow than anyone. And it is all funneled out to the ocean. It is purposely kept from our farmers to create droughts. It is purposely kept from our farmers to prevent them from farming, to prevent them from having the farms that they have. If you're only allotted 30% of the water that you need for your farm, that means you only get 30% of your farm. That's driving you out of business. And that's what we have right now. We've had, in the last 5 years, have been record rain and snow in all of our mountains. And yet our farming community gets 35% of their allotment of water. It should be criminal. And it actually probably is criminal. But we have a government that is doing this on purpose. So my plan is exactly common sense, what probably the majority of Californians know should happen. If you want to save water, you have to save it somewhere.
Save it, yeah.
You put it in a reservoir, you put it in a dam. So we will build dams, we will build reservoirs. And here's the thing, we will provide our farming community with 100% of the water that they need, because when you do that, that's what fills the aquifers, that's what fills the tables. You catch the water, you store it, you give it to the farming community to flood their fields, plant their crops and everything else, and it seeps down into the water table. You purposely store that water, release it back to the farming community, and now you are building, you're not only saving it in dams and reservoirs, but you're driving up the level of that water in the groundwater, and now our aquifers are full. So when there is a bad rain or a bad season, it doesn't even affect us.
There's no bad season, it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
Like we went to Morocco to study desert agriculture for our farm, and we noticed how they're farming. They have dams and slowing down. They have like small bridges that they slow down the water so it seeps into the ground. They never have a problem.
Right.
It looks like a desert, but it's so much life.
Yeah.
There's life everywhere, and they have water all the time.
Yeah, and you can't forget that we have...
And we have more water than them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And not just from the rain and snow. We have an entire coastline from Mexico to Oregon that is all water. If we need water for our big cities, they can build a desalination plant, and they can provide all of the water that anyone could possibly ever need. This is proof positive that this is a government-created disaster. This is not a lack of water. This is not a drought.
Man-made.
This is 100% man-made, and it's not you and I man-made.
No.
It's government-made, and we absolutely have to give that power back to Californians.
So now, wildfires. So, you know, everybody talks of California as a super, like, scary with the wildfires. It's so dangerous. That goes back to the fake drought also. But what do you have in plan for wildfires as a protection for, like, a buffer for them not to happen, and a reactive plan to stop the fire? And after the math of the fire happens, is there a plan that you have that is going to help farmers mitigate, or house owners also, that their policies are dropping?
Yeah, so we have to all realize that we don't have, global warming is not causing our fires. We've had fires every single year. We have wind every single year. These are natural occurrences. The problem that we have is the fires that we do get now become so big and so hot that you can't put them out. And it's because of excessive fuel in our hillsides surrounding our communities and our forests. Our forests are completely overgrown. We used to have a logging industry in California that managed our forests to use strategically the forest. So if there was a fire, it's easily put out. When the forest is so overgrown and thick with fuel, when it gets going, you're not going to put it out.
No.
You can't put it out.
No.
It's just going to burn until it burns itself out. And that's what we're seeing today. So we have to give our firefighters the tools that they need to fight it. We have to give them the ability, by taking away regulations that prevent them from the mitigation efforts around the hills and the mountains in our cities and around our homes. Let them clear out that growth. Let them have burns in the off season. So when those big fires come, we actually can mitigate how bad they're going to be, how big they're going to be, or can put them out within a reasonable amount of time.
But that also goes back to the water dams and all that. They're going to have more areas to pick up water and put the fires out.
They have to have the ability to get the water, the planes in the water from the dams and the reservoirs. They have to have the ability to use the retardant from the planes and the helicopters to drop around the areas to put that fire out. And they have to have the personnel resources to make sure that they're fighting that fire on the ground. And right now, we do not have that. We haven't had it for a long time. And the regulations have prevented all of these things from happening, that now we witness what we saw in January, where the Pacific Palisades completely wiped out. That is a 100% failure of government. That wasn't a fire's fault. That was a failure of government's fault, that once that fire got going, we couldn't put it out. It was too hot, it was too big.
And also, it's like when you go to the forest, you cannot even pick firewood because it's illegal.
Yeah.
And that's part of...
So for the environmentalists, it's environmentalists that are preventing all of this from happening. So tell me what's worse. Logging that strategically thins out the forest.
The dead wood.
The dead wood that allows new growth to come up, that allows the forest to prosper and regenerate and all that stuff. Or letting it get so bad that we can't put out a forest fire, and now you go up north and it's just hundreds of miles of burnt forest. It's all dead. Everything is dead.
People don't realize that those trees are diseased. That if you don't cut them down, first of all, it's going to take 100 years for that thing to decay and go back to the ground. But if you cut them down, you could use them for something.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's not a house for more bugs to keep killing the forest.
That's exactly right.
Like you said, it's environmentalists that they don't understand that.
The logging companies are the best stewards
managing
of our forests. The ranching and the cattle and the farming industry are the best stewards of our land, hands down.
Because we care about
the activists that live in steel and concrete buildings in towns have absolutely no idea what this is. They believe that you buy your produce, that produce and meat comes from a grocery store. They have no, it sounds silly, but I have talked to people that have been mad at me for caring about cows because I could just buy it from the grocery store. That is an ignorant person that has been misled by an failed education system. I mean, we can talk about all kinds of things wrong with California outside of just the ag industry. There are many things in California we have to fix, and it's going to take a new governor to do it.
I know, we need change super fast. Economic support for farmers. Do you have any plans on like making it easier for local farms in the cities, or organic farms, or people that actually care about the soil, people that actually care about their animals? Are you going to have different incentives, or are you going to apply new grants for?
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you why California is the worst in the country. It's because of excessive business regulations, excessive farming regulations, and excessive taxes that nowhere else in the country experience. Farmers and ag and growers in other states do not experience what Californians experience. It is exponentially worse here, forcing them out of business. So with me as your governor, those excessive regulations and taxes are going to be removed, just like the rest of the country. We have to remove it here to allow the farms and the ag community to prosper.
To thrive, yeah.
The agriculture industry in California is the leading industry in the nation. We are the leading, ag is the leading of the nation, California. And we're shrinking. We have to be expanding, and it's not expanding by big business. It's expanding by the combination of big corporations and many, 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 many more small businesses.
But California not only feeds U.S., feeds
we feed the world.
Yeah, California feeds nuts and seeds to the whole world.
Yeah. An interesting statistic that I just learned is California is the leading provider of rice to Asia. That doesn't even, it didn't even make sense when I heard it. But so I had to research it and I had to look into it.
You know what's funny?
Like, sure enough.
We grow the organic rice here, we ship it out, and we buy like conventional rice
from somewhere else
for us.
Yeah.
How is that healthy?
Yeah.
Grow your own rice, eat your own rice. You don't have to depend on Thailand rice or China rice. I don't know where rice comes from all over the Asian countries, but it's not organic. They're buying our organic rice, and we're eating their nasty.
We're going to rescue every aspect of our beautiful state.
So now I have some questions from the people. Are you personally impacted by this when putting food on your table for your family?
I certainly am, and it's a very unique way that I'm impacted because my wife and I only eat beef. We eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's it. We don't eat.
What's for dinner?
Yeah, that's what I know.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Exactly. I eat a ribeye and eggs for breakfast, and I eat a ribeye or hamburger patties for dinner. That's it. That's what we eat. And so I care about the food that's going in my body. I care about the nutrients that my body needs, and I care about our ag community. I care. Now, I'm all about, I mean, there's a time where I ate vegetables, and that's okay. I'm choosing not to now because of my age. But I don't care that my kids eat it and that my grandkids eat it, but I want them eating healthy food. I want them eating real food. And I don't want them going to a grocery store and buying something from a box. I want them going to the local farmer's market and buying the vegetables from there that they know how they were grown. I want them buying beef from their local beef rancher, or, I mean, I'm not against, big business, and I'm not against, a restaurant buying from
Cisco.
major, I'm not against that at all. But I want the option. If I want to know where that cow grew up and what that cow ate, I want to put that in my body. So I am impacted, and I will make sure that California farming and ag community is not only remains the best and the biggest in the country, but we expand on what we already have.
Cool. What is your take on chemtrails or aerosol injection? I know Florida and Tennessee banned it.
Yeah. I will tell you, and I have to be very, very honest with you. I've been one of those that's been, denying that for years, saying it's impossible. The government would not do that to us. The government would not spray chemicals in that are harmful to us in the air to fall down on us, rain down on us. They would not do that. And now we're learning that we've been lied to. And good for those other states. I don't think we should be scientifically trying to change the weather, because you don't know how you're going to change it. Not only that, you don't know what the negative aspects are going to be, the unintended consequences of that falling down onto us, and now being in our water source, being
Everything.
in our
Grass.
in everything. I think that's another one of those government issued things that we've been lied to for too long, that government has been not working for us. They've been working for their own agendas or their own political, ideological things, or government experiments that we should know about. We should be able to decide whether you're going to do that. And I have a feeling that the majority of the population doesn't want chemicals being sprayed into our sky to harm us. So I'm one of those people that have been in denial forever, but now we're learning that I've been lied to forever.
Yeah, but you know as much as you know at that point.
Yeah.
And if you don't involve, yes.
Yeah.
That's
So we're watching it in real time with these hearings that are in Washington, with the people that are actually doing it, admitting that they're doing it and how they're doing it and what they're doing. And it's like, what in the world? And now that we know it's happening, it's like, hey, we've got to stop that.
we don't even know what they're spraying.
Yeah.
Nobody-
And we can't believe we've allowed you to do it for so long.
I know.
Yeah.
It's because it's international space, right? Like the altitude or something like that.
Yeah.
They're not
And
supposed to
it's different for the federal government controls our airspace. The FAA controls our airspace and the skies above us. So it has to be at the national level that they completely outlaw that. I get it. It's great that Florida and Texas, and with me as your governor, I will say that we are not going to allow that here in California.
or fight for it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will use our size and combined size to make sure that we influence government to start caring about us once again.
Now, I'm going to close with this. Is raw milk ever going to be illegal in California?
I don't know about that. I honestly don't know about that. I've never been a fan of raw milk. I drank milk straight from a cow when I was a kid, and I will never do it again just because I remember what it tasted like. But I have friends that search out raw milk and everything else. I don't know enough about raw milk to answer that question. I am just personally under the belief that raw milk was meant for a calf, and it was meant for a calf to grow into a steer or a cow. It wasn't meant for my kids. And so that's my belief on the whole thing. But at the same time, my beliefs shouldn't necessarily be your beliefs.
So I read this, that you could get sick from spinach. You could get sicker from spinach than from raw milk.
Yeah.
Like I've
Do you know what you can't get sick from?
beef.
A good old ribeye steak.
I know. Well, I've never gotten sick from raw milk. I drink raw milk every single day, and we have goats and we drink it. So would you consider on giving the people the right of drinking their own milk, like their own raw milk as a
Yes, I think the issue comes is when you're going to sell it to everybody else. If you have cows that you're milking your own cows and you're drinking straight raw milk from the cow, more power to you. And if you want to give it to your friends and your family and they're doing the same thing, more power to you. But if you're going to sell it, then we get into the issue of is it safe? And really somebody's going to sue you because they're going to blame your milk for whatever and then it just goes down that whole path of economic suicide. But so that's a huge.
I know it's not
topic.
simple, because first of all you need the infrastructure to keep it clean.
Yeah.
And you cannot transport it long distances,
Right.
because it could catch something in the way. So, like, I understand. I'm not oblivious to how things work.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's going to be a nationwide like change of heart, like, oh, raw milk is the best thing. It is the best thing, but when it's clean and it's from like a clean pasture and local and hasn't been.
Well, what we're learning that a lot of what we've been told and taught has been a lie. And so you have to kind of go back and figure out why. And because you don't have the ability to do the pasteurization without tons of money in your property and the equipment and everything else, was that a lie? So we could make sure that big companies were able to pasteurize and do all of that stuff. We know that pasteurization is good, and we know that it takes nutrients away. So but we really don't know yet what the truth is, because is it just another one of those things where we were lied to?
I think it has more to do with a new type of cattle that they developed, the Holstein cows, that they produce 12 gallons of milk. They didn't know what to do with so much milk. First they had the government cheese, and then they still had milk left over, so they started pasteurizing it, because pasteurizing makes it okay for months ahead of the time.
Yeah.
You cannot have raw milk for last months. It doesn't go bad, it just turns into something else, and that's not what people want.
As the day came to an end, we wrapped our conversation. Our intent wasn't to endorse a candidate, but to offer perspective and a clearer understanding for those who care about the future of farming in California.